Material supplied by VMS may be used for internal review, analysis, or research only. Any editing, reproduction, publication, rebroadcasting, public showing, internet, or public display is forbidden and may violate copyright law.
It was very fascinating to be invited to speak on behalf of the business community of Houston, representing our stakeholders on this very complex topic, immigration reform. Basically, my testimony was that it's very much time for a comprehensive look at how we can fix this very, very broken federal law. We would say that absolutely secure the border. That's a priority that our board unanimously supports. We clearly want to also address the 15 to 20 million that have arrived without proper documents, and they're providing contributions to our economy. They're workers, and in the Houston economy, they're doing jobs that nobody else is able to do or wants to do.
2010 was a busy year for you and for the partnership. What are some of the accomplishments in the past year?
Ed, we were very, very pleased that 2010 provided so many challenges, but also provided opportunities. And the challenges, of course, were that the federal government were making decisions, and they really weren't opening the door for the business community to have the voice that we believed would have been a valuable add to those discussions. Let's take, for example, the funding of NASA. The administration offered a budget, and it immediately contemplated taking large chunks of the federal funding and moving it over to incentivize the private sector for low-orbit space exploration. The reality is that for Johnson Space Center, that meant cutting about 1/2 of the federal jobs out at Johnson Space. And we spent a good portion of 2010 working with Congressman Pete Olson and putting together a beautiful bill that was ultimately unanimously approved by the Senate and passed the House, to where we know that Johnson Space Center does have a very bright future. The other challenge, to your point, Ed, is that 2010 was the administration, through the Department of Energy, responding to BP and the Gulf Coast spill, and essentially locking down and putting a moratorium on the shallow water and deep water drilling. And that has had a very chilling impact, and we're very deeply involved in monitoring and understanding how we can work with DOE to make sure that the safeguards that they believe should be in place also have a balance to them, and they don't have this unintended consequence of just shuttering and closing off these valuable jobs, and also producing a commodity, crude oil, that our nation desperately needs.
We're talking with Jeff Moseley, President and CEO of the Greater Houston Partnership. You've got a meeting on the 11th where you'll be talking about the future for Houston.
We're going to have our annual meeting, which is our launch of the year. This is when our chairman kind of changed gavels. Larry Kellner will be coming in as the chairman of the board of the Greater Houston Partnership. And by the end of 2011, December of 2011, we're showing that the jobs that are growing in the Houston area will go back and replenish the jobs lost, so that we'll actually be in not only just recovery, but we'll actually see job growth. Now, take this into consideration. In 36 months, Panama adds a third lane to the Panama Canal, and it allows for these supercargo container vessels to come right to the Port of Houston from China.
Jeff, thanks for being here. Always great having you.
Thank you, Ed. Happy New Year.